I once tried to explain American diners to an Italian friend. He couldn't believe restaurants could be open 24/7 serving pancakes, burgers, and milkshakes all at once. At 3 a.m., he asked. Yes, especially at 3 a.m. Abroad, restaurants have rules. Dinner ends at dinner time. In America, time doesn't matter. Want waffles at midnight? No problem. A cheeseburger for breakfast? Go ahead. Diners are like culinary anarchy with laminated menus the size of novels. My friend stared at the menu and whispered, "This is chaos." And he was right. But chaos tastes good at 2 in the morning. The waitress calls you Han, refills your coffee endlessly, and somehow remembers 10 complicated orders without writing them down. To foreigners, diners are madness. To Americans, they're comfort. There's nothing more patriotic than eating pie under fluorescent lights while a trucker and a teenager share the same booth row. I always forget how weird American customer service is until I shop abroad. In the U.S., employees greet you with a smile so wide it looks painful. Hi? Welcome in. Can I help you find anything? In France, I walked into a store and the clerk barely looked up. At first, I thought she hated me. But no, that's just normal. Abroad, shopping is quiet, polite, efficient. In America, it's a full performance. Managers hover, employees compliment your shirt, and they act like buying socks is the highlight of their day. Foreigners find it fake. Maybe it is. But it's the kind of fake that makes you feel special, like the world revolves around your shoe purchase. When I told a Dutch friend we actually tip baristas for handing us coffee, he laughed for 5 straight minutes. Still, we can't help it. Service with a smile is practically our anthem. I never realized how strange American bathrooms are until I traveled. In Germany, the stalls feel like private rooms, floor-to-ceiling walls, quiet, secure. In America, gaps so wide you can make eye contact with strangers washing their hands. My British friend asked, "Isn't that unsettling?" Absolutely. But we've just accepted it. Abroad, public bathrooms are tidy and efficient. In the U.S., we treat them like mystery zones, broken locks, soap dispensers that don't work, and toilets that sound like jet engine. Yet somehow we brag about having free bathrooms everywhere. Europeans gasp when I tell them we even have toilets inside gas stations. Isn't that gross? Yes. But it's also kind of convenient. Our bathrooms may lack privacy, but they make up for it in accessibility. In America, relief is never far away, just don't expect dignity to come with it. I once tried to explain baseball to a friend in Sweden, and halfway through, I confused myself. It's like cricket, I said, but longer, slower, and somehow still exciting. He frowned. So the game lasts how many hours? Sometimes 3, sometimes more. And there's no clock? No. So how do you know when it ends? Honestly, we just hope. To outsiders, baseball looks like endless waiting interrupted by brief sprint. But to Americans, it's tradition, hot dogs, 7th-inning stretches, and yelling at umpires for fun. My friend asked, so it's mostly standing around. Exactly. But we love it. We romanticize the slowness, call it America's pastime, and wear caps like it's a personality. Other sports around the world feel fast and thrilling. Baseball is slow, nostalgic, and somehow sacred. Confusing? Absolutely. But nothing feels more American than cheering at a ballpark while eating overpriced peanuts. I learned quickly that the world doesn't understand America's obsession with ice. In Spain, I asked for water, and the waiter brought me a glass room temperature, no ice. I stared at it like it was a crime scene. Back home, a drink without ice is basically soup. We want so much ice that the actual beverage is an afterthought, floating between frozen cubes like a shipwreck survivor. Europeans shake their heads when they see us fill glasses to the brim. "Why do you need so much?" they ask. I can't explain it. Ice is just happiness. Restaurants in the U.S. measure generosity by how much frozen water they give you. Even our sodas are so loaded with ice that you finish the drink in 2 sips. Abroad, they sip wine slowly. In America, we crunch ice like it's a national pastime. And honestly, it kind of is. I didn't realize how many flags America has until I left the country. In Europe, flags hang on government buildings or national holidays. In America, we put them everywhere: schools, trucks, swimsuits, even coffee mugs. My German friend visited once and asked, "Is there a parade?" Nope, it was just Tuesday. We treat the flag like seasoning, sprinkle it on anything, and it instantly becomes patriotic. The world sees it as overkill, but to us, it's normal. I once saw a flag painted on a barbecue grill. Nothing says freedom like searing burgers on the stars and stripes. When I explained this to an Italian, he shook his head and said, "We love our country, but we don't wear it as pants." Fair point. Outside America, nationalism feels reserved and subtle. Inside America, it's basically wallpaper. And yes, sometimes we do salute it before eating potato salad. I confuse people abroad with American small talk. "At home, how are you?" is basically a greeting, not a question. Strangers at the grocery store chat about the weather, sports, or the price of eggs. But when I ask, "How are you?" in London, the man actually told me. 20 minutes later, I knew his childhood trauma and his cat's medical history. Americans expect a quick "fine, thanks." We don't want your life story. We just want to keep the line moving. Europeans, on the other hand, think we're fake because we smile and ask without caring. Honestly, they're right. But that's the charm. We thrive on meaningless chatter. Once, I complimented a stranger's hat in Germany, and she looked at me like I'd proposed marriage. Nee, Americans don't mean everything we say, but we say a lot. Sometimes noise is our love language. I learned fast that American holidays confuse everyone else. In Britain, Halloween is small, few costumes, maybe some candy. In America, it's a full-scale production, fake skeletons on lawns, haunted houses, and enough candy to cause nationwide sugar comas. Then there's Thanksgiving, which baffles foreigners completely. So you eat a giant bird, watch football, and shop the next day like gladiators? Exactly. Even our patriotic holidays confuse people. Fireworks in July? Yes. Hot dogs in September? Also yes. And don't forget how Christmas starts in November. By December, we're exhausted from all the jingling bells and inflatable Santas. My French friend asked, "Do Americans rest?" No! Our holiday season is basically a marathon of food, lights, and mall discount. The rest of the world celebrates calmly, but we crank everything to maximum volume. Subtlety? That's not in the American calendar. I always dread explaining America's relationship with guns to foreigners. In Australia, my friend told me their gun laws are strict and people barely think about them. In America, we have entire stores dedicated to firearms right next to the camping gear and fishing poles. Once, someone in Ireland asked if Americans actually carry guns in public. I shrugged and said sometimes. His face went pale, like he'd just seen a ghost. The truth is, we're confusing even to ourselves. Some of us treat guns like sacred heirlooms, others want them all gone. Meanwhile, the rest of the world just stares and wonders why we argue so much about something they solved decades ago. Explaining it feels like trying to teach algebra to a goldfish. There's no neat answer, just centuries of stubbornness wrapped in the Second Amendment. And yes, it's as messy as it sounds. I shocked a friend in Sweden when I told him America has entire channels of reality TV. He thought I was exaggerating until I showed him. Dating shows, cooking competitions, people yelling in houses, celebrities crying in confessionals. He blinked like I'd opened the gates of chaos. "You watch this for fun?" he asked. "Yes. It's our guilty pleasure, except we don't even feel guilty. Abroad, people think television is for news, documentaries, maybe dramas. In America, it's for watching strangers flip tables or eat bugs for money. The funniest part? We export it and then pretend to be embarrassed when other countries copy us. But really, we're proud. Reality TV is like our cultural export, loud, messy, and slightly ridiculous. Whenever foreigners ask, "Does anyone believe this is real?" I just laugh. Of course not. But that doesn't stop us from binge-watching every season. I once took a British friend to a football tailgate, and he thought it was the actual event. We weren't even inside the stadium yet, just in the parking lot surrounded by grills, tents, music, and enough food to feed a small country. "This is before the game?" he asked, staring at burgers stacked like skyscrapers. "Yeah!" For Americans, the pre-party is just as important as the game. Abroad, sports fans might grab a beer, maybe a snack. In America, we show up hours early with RVs, flat-screen TVs, and lawn chairs, ready to party like it's a national holiday. My friend was floored. "So you eat and drink all this, then sit for hours?" Exactly. It makes no sense, but neither does painting your chest in 20-degree weather. That's American sports culture, half game, half carnival, all confusing. And yes, we love every second.